What's up, everybody? This is Jay Tragic Jeffrey with Toxic Hustle, and today I want to talk about a topic or a subject that I'm extremely interested in, and I'm hoping for some of you you're interested in as well, and that is blockchain, the Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, alternative coins or altcoins. But for some of you out there, who shall remain nameless, you think that this is bullshit, that it's a monster pile of crap. And for you, I'm going to tell you, you're an idiot, or possibly an idiot. The reason why I'm going to say that, I'm not saying that you are, but you're possibly one. The reason why I say that is because your fear of not understanding something has led you under the impression that because you can't understand it, that it basically has to be fake. Well, what this video is going to pretty much dispel is your fear of the unknown. Alright? Now, I did kind of get hard with my language, and I'm probably going to be a little bit harsh with my language throughout this. I'm going to try to tone it down as much as possible, but I don't like to see somebody miss an opportunity because they're ignorant to something, right? So I don't want you to be dumb or dumber, and I don't want you to think that this is crap. I need you to understand what this is, and that's what we're going to do with this video. So let's get to it. I want to preface this and starting to say nothing that I say is financial advice, which I said in the intro. This is not financial advice. This is education. So to be educated, sometimes you got to go back in history a little bit. So let's start with Newsweek. As you can see from the article, February 27th, 1995. And look at that headline. The internet. Bah. Hype alert. Why cyberspace isn't and will never be nirvana. We can stop right there. Now, do you see, here's Newsweek. And they're saying it's not important. Nothing that's going to happen on the internet is going to be important. Now, how many news outlets, because they didn't understand something, they have these pundits that sit in positions of authority to be able to give you information, and because they don't do their due diligence, because they don't understand something, they're easy to try to throw a wet blanket over the top of it. But see, when you see things like this, when somebody tells you and you hear it over and over again that something is not going to happen or something is not going to work, that's when you should take interest in it and do your research and start hunting down the info. Because in doing so now, and only then, will you begin to educate yourself on it. And if it is BS, well, you've done your diligence and you know why it's not, why it is. And if it's isn't BS, or if there's some glimmer of being able to have something that's going to do something for you, well, you can change. You can start looking at those things that are going to be validated and start looking for the trends and the patterns, right? So Newsweek said it's going to be crap. So for me, we got to talk about what a currency is first and foremost. Now, our currency, the US dollar, as you can see what I have here in Google, no country currently backs its currency with gold. So nobody does that anymore, right? Many have in the past, including the US. For half of a century, beginning in 1879, Americans could trade $20.67 for an ounce of gold. The country effectively abandoned the gold standard in 1933 and completely severed the link between the dollar and gold in 1971. All right, so our dollar, a currency, was backed by gold and is no longer backed by it. So what exactly is it? It's a fiat currency. So what's the definition of that? A fiat currency is legal tender whose value is backed by the government that issued it. So our government said that it's valuable. And if you look on the dollar, if you look on the dollar, it says that it's for debts tendered, for legal debt tendered. So if you're looking at this, the US dollar is a fiat money. as the euro and many other major world currencies. This approach differs from money whose value is underpinned by some physical good such as gold or silver, called commodity money. All right? So, what this is saying is our dollar, which we already know was backed by something, gold, which was a commodity, is now only backed by the US government because they say so. They say it's valuable. So you can go to a store and trade that note. That's what all the dollar is, a note. You can trade that note for a piece of candy or a new television set. And that's it. So even with your credit cards, it's backed by a fiat currency. All right? So what is Bitcoin now? It was created in 2009 by it was basically a white paper describing an idea by an alias. Somebody had written it as an alias, Satoshi Nakamoto. So even now they'll say I have X amount of Satoshis, like I have 1,000 Satoshis, right? Transactions are made with no middleman, meaning no banks. There are no transaction fees. There's no need to give your real name. More merchants are beginning to accept them, which is true. So why Bitcoins? So you can use it anonymously. You can acquire it by going to an exchange. You can transfer that money directly to an individual. See, before you would have to, but right now, not even before, right now you have to go to your bank and send money via the wire. And then there's a transaction fee with that. Or if you want to go to PayPal. See, PayPal is a central repository, so you can send money back and forth between people. But this, Bitcoin, means I can send currency from one person to another person. So I can send Bitcoin to you, you can send Bitcoin to me, and there's nobody in the middle of it. Okay? Makes sense. So what is it? Mining. People so basically, people mine or validate the transactions that are happening. So when this person sends this transaction to this person, there are servers in between that are mining to get basically win a complex math puzzle, and they'll get 25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes if they solve it, right? So they get money. These servers, these miners, get money to validate the transaction, and these miners can be anywhere in the world. Okay? You can own Bitcoin in something called a wallet, no different than you have a physical wallet that you put in your pocket, or if you're a woman, or some of these guys, you got man purses, or your ladies got their purses. You can put your credit cards in your purse or in your wallet. You have to have a wallet, a digital signature that you can store that value of your Bitcoin, right? And for the most part, it's anonymous. For the most part, if you're in certain exchanges in the United States now, you're not anonymous anymore. But if you're looking at this as a business, that's not really a problem to you, right? So now we get a basic understanding. So that's a high level, basic broad stroke to say that Bitcoin is a transfer of currency between individuals that miners do calculations and validate the transaction. Okay? So when you go to the web right now, you're going to a server. So if you go to Facebook, you're on Facebook servers, and then you see your Facebook page. Or if you're on your phone, you downloaded the Facebook app, which is connected to that server, and you're able to see information. You can scroll down your news feed. The same thing with Twitter or Instagram. Same business model. You're going to a central repository to get the information that you're going to get, right? No different than if you were going to your bank. You go to wellsfargo.com or whatever your bank is.com. You're going to their web server. They show you the web page. You log in and you can get the information about your account balance, right? So keep it up with me. It's simple. All right. So now that means it's centralized, right? So if you go to PayPal, same thing. You go to PayPal. PayPal sends the money to somebody else. That person goes to PayPal. He can send the money to somebody else. That's the way this works. That's a centralized banking. What Bitcoin does is say, hey, you're here, you can send it there, he can send it there, he can send it here, but there's no centralized place to be able to do the transaction, because all these miners are out there doing the calculations and making money to validate those transactions. You starting to understand? You starting to see it a little bit? No? Let's go a little bit further. What does that mean? These servers, these miners, right? So the guys that have all these machines that are doing the mining, these guys are validating all these transactions and are earning money because of it. That means that somebody has a machine running 24/7 to make that happen. There's lots of people doing that all over the place. So if you think about that, look at this is the energy consumption index of Bitcoin as of July 19th, and we are on August 18th. So this is July 19th. Look at this energy consumption. Look at how many terawatts of energy is being used to validate those Bitcoin transactions. Do you see what I mean? Do you starting to see it? You starting to understand something? Bitcoin is energy. It's how many people are willing to do to validate those transactions, and the people that are doing the transactions. But the miners are the energy source. They are mining to get their payment. Hence, the value of Bitcoin is how much energy. You can see how much energy is being used to facilitate mining across the globe, right? So, is Bitcoin ever going to really take off? Which it already has, but is it going to go to crazy numbers? I don't know. The internet, people, as you saw from Newsweek, they didn't think the internet was going to be important, and look at how much of an importance it is in our life right now, right? But let's look at something. This is John McAfee, right? He is the guy that made McAfee antivirus. So this is the virus that antivirus system that was software that was being used, that's still being used by tons of businesses all over the world and some people. Your computer might have been set up with McAfee antivirus, right? Now this guy says Bitcoin, this is July 17th, he says Bitcoin bouncing back fast from its technical correction, right? So he says Bitcoin, he messed it up, Bitcoin's low of $1,800 yesterday simply could not be maintained. In the long term, Bitcoin moves above 500,000 within 3 years. Bets? Now this is McAfee. I want to bet. I'm here. This guy says, so one Bitcoin is $500,000 within 3 years. Here's what his statement is. If not, I will eat my expletive on national television. Now, this is a guy that before the internet, before computers were widespread, made a bet saying that everybody was going to need antivirus on their machine so that they wouldn't be hacked. Right? And people thought that was stupid. But now look at the world. Just about every machine has some type of firewall or antivirus on it. Why? Because when information is now available to everybody and your computer is on a public in public space, you're going to have to protect yourself from anybody who can see your info. And that was hackers. So he's saying that in 3 years, he sees it at 500,000. Now, do I think it's going to be that in 3 years? I don't know. But nobody does. It's all speculation. So there's some things that I want to first... people think, okay, where's the legitimacy, right? So here's just me doing a news search. Here's the news search from today. Again, the 18th of August. And the Bank of Canada proposes a Bitcoin-based file system from August 17th. Another private bank. Private bank means a lot of money. There's a typical private bank, because I worked at a private bank before. You had to have a net worth of 5 million plus, right? So let's see. Another bank. Let's see. Bank of Canada, already said. Each Bitcoin could be worth $619 million in 10 years. This is in Forbes. Fortune, a $5,000 Bitcoin. Doesn't seem so crazy now. Big banks aren't ignoring Bitcoin anymore. They're still wary, of course. Swiss Private Bank to add support for Bitcoin. Swiss Private Bank to add support for Bitcoin, Ether, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Goldman is getting into cryptocurrency. So you can just keep scrolling. Wall Street, biggest bear meaning somebody who thinks a market is too high and it's too high and they want to make money off the price of it going down. He thinks Bitcoin will surge to $6,000. This was 2 hours ago. Square, the guy that where you have the swipe to swipe money, payment system. The founder Jack Dorsey talks Bitcoin, says something about the blockchain and banks. So again, you're seeing. I just want to show you something that here's news that's saying from within a reasonable amount of time, because you can see the date, that a lot of banks are already interested in this because this is a form of sending value back and forth. Something that is important to a financial institution, right? And we know finance runs the world. So let's look at cryptocurrency. Let's look at CoinMarketCap. This is a place that I look at on a regular basis, and it shows you all the market evaluation, how much money is in each coin. Right, so you got Bitcoin, you've got Ethereum, which I talked about in the first video. You've got Bitcoin Cash, you've got Ripple, Litecoin, IOTA, NEM. You see all of the market evaluation, basically how much money and the price right now per coin. Right, so $4,229 as of right now for one Bitcoin. But it's still fake. But it's still not important. This is at $297. Bitcoin Cash is at $635. So you can see, but look at how much, look at the billions of dollars that are sitting in these coins. So okay, that means somebody thinks it's valuable. And look at this, we're at 100 in all for the most part, the top performing market caps. We're looking at 142 billion, 817 million, $347,223 as a market cap, and that's market cap for these major currencies right now, right? That's how much money. And look at where we were back in August 2013. It had $1 billion. 5 billion, kept fluctuating, 11 billion, and look at the tear. 70, 100, then it dips, then 90. So look at where we are. Look, you can see that, and we're not even that many people that understand or know what cryptocurrencies are or what Bitcoin is. So we are at over 142 billion market cap, and people still don't know what it is. Right? So how is it fake? This is all fake. Is it? Okay. Ethereum, which is the company over here that has over a 27 billion market cap, Ethereum has an alliance, right? This Ethereum alliance has all of these companies. And you're going to see some brands that you've seen before, like BP, BNY Mellon, Cisco Systems, let's see, Credit Suisse, look at all this, Intel, Infosys, ING, that's a banking situation right there. Let's see, MasterCard, Microsoft, let's see, Scotiabank, Toyota, UBS. So you see how many companies are already a part of this, right? They're with Ethereum, but that's still the blockchain. That's still a cryptocurrency, and they understand that this is going to fundamentally change how their business works. TechCrunch, a major tech news source, an article here dated January of this year. The future is a decentralized internet. So what makes Ethereum important is that it's not just putting a value on a coin like Bitcoin is. Ethereum wants to write smart contracts and actually have a coding language on top of it, which means you could write an application to say, hey, if I wanted to do a legal contract, or I wanted to do real estate and have somebody go into an apartment, rather than having an office, they could go in, do a virtual walk, just walk through, and if they liked it, swipe their hardware wallet and buy into the apartment. Or maybe even to rent somebody's home in the future, or get into, you don't have to go downstairs in a hotel. You can actually just go to a hotel, book it online, and then just swipe something to go into the room. It eliminates having to deal with people. So we're looking at decentralized, not just transactions, right? We're not talking about just a decentralized internet. Like the internet is centralized right now, going to a server. We're talking about anything of value could be decentralized in the future. That's important. We're looking at an internet that's 100% decentralized, where this means growth for anything that is already attached to an internet platform. Here's the Harvard Business Review, right? Harvard, that major college, Ivy League college. The blockchain will do to the financial system what the internet did to media. This is Harvard saying that this is going to fundamentally change. And when they say blockchain, Bitcoin is a blockchain. Ethereum is a blockchain. So this is going to do to the financial system what the internet did to media. So think about that. When was the last time you really bought a CD? Or do you stream it online? Or do you listen to it on YouTube? What did Napster do to being able to share files? That's what it means. It means that this is going to be very disruptive. Here's another research paper, so I can show you what growth is going to be. It's saying right now, as of May 4th, 2017, more than 3 million people, 3 times previous estimates, are estimated to be actively using cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, right? This is a benchmark study done by the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance. So right now they're saying 3 million people. Now, how many people are in the world? And 3 million people are actively using it? So we're already at how much market cap? And really only 3 million people are actively doing something with this? But it's still a fad. But it's still not important, right? Here's CNBC. Blockchain technology will change the world. This is Fidelity, an investment company. This is where you can invest your money. I've been on Fidelity, making trades. Bitcoin is digital gold, and blockchain technology will change the world, said Hadley Stern of Fidelity Labs. They announced Wednesday that it started allowing clients to view Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies on its website, a rare move for an established institution. Although Bitcoin is in its infancy and still has many skeptics, it is here to stay whether governments like it or not. IBM. 65% of world major banks to use the blockchain by 2019. 17% of banks to have full blockchain product. 15% of global banks will have a fully fledged blockchain product in operation by 2017. That's this year. But it's a fad. But it's fake. But it's crap. No. Your thought process and not understanding that this is energy is leading you to think the same way Newsweek did. That this isn't important. But it is. That's why I'm telling you right now. Right? That's why I'm telling you right now. The blockchain will do to the financial system what internet did to media. And if you're not proactively researching blockchain technologies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, just go down this list and start clicking on things like Ethereum and then going to their website and then looking at them. Not only can you do that, but you can go to the message board here, or if you can go to the message board and read up on stuff, or if you go back one right here, and let's pick another one. Let's pick something like IOTA, right? And you see this announcement. There's this website called bitcointalk.org, and you can go here and look at this 535 feed where they're talking about what their technology will do. You can start researching now and start learning and seeing whether or not this is important to you. Okay? What I need y'all to do is, if you enjoyed the content, to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you can get notifications. All right? So this is J Tragic Jeffrey. I don't want you to be ignorant of Bitcoin, of cryptocurrencies. I want you to know that it's going to change the future, and I need y'all to start thinking about how you can start getting your investments in and start making money. All right? So this is J Tragic Jeffrey for Toxic Hustle, and stop thinking that this is crap. Don't be a dummy. Peace.